Today, we are going to track an underwater canyon that travels for 1,200 miles. We are going to start around Vancouver Island, where it first begins. You can see how there is a canyon deep in the Strait of Georgia. And when we make it around to the Salish Sea, we can see streamlined islands at the bottom of the channel. And where it enters the Pacific, that's where you can really see the canyon well. And right here is where it goes off the Continental Shelf. It flows down this way and around the corner. Here it's 5 miles wide. And as it flows around, it makes a sharp right turn. And then it flows along this ridge now and continues, and converges with a canyon that's just as large. This canyon can be tracked up and is in line with the channels of the Puget Sound. So the canyons that we are about to track are from debris flows caused by water erosion that flowed around both sides of the Olympic Range. So now that the two canyons have converged, let's see where it goes. Here it's met with an obstacle, the Blanco Fracture Zone, which is a transverse fault, but it is able to navigate through it. After that, the canyon splits and then reconverges to make a big circle. And if you look at this part of it, you can see how the canyons float around these little seamounts. And just past it is one of my favorite spots, because there is a river step sequence that shows how the debris flow decreased from its maximum flow, which was over 4 miles wide. And then you can keep following it across the seafloor. And unfortunately, this is the last of the sonar data we have on it. But we can see how the mud flow was still energetic enough to streamline an island. But this island is at nearly 13,000 feet deep. And these canyons were not due to a lower sea level, but from heavy debris flows that can travel underwater. Both these canyons are over a mile wide, so the canyon we have been tracking likely travels much farther out, across the cold, flat seafloor. We are going to look at some huge marine canyons off the coast of New Zealand. Both are over 1,000 kilometers long, at incredible depths that only a debris flow could carve. Now, we have already tracked some huge marine canyons, but they came off North America, which has a huge watershed. New Zealand is much smaller, but still has very comparable marine canyons. So let's start with this one that has many canyons going off the continental shelf, and they quickly converge and combined to form this large marine canyon. For the next 850 kilometers, there are no more confluences. This is an important feature of marine canyons that prove its underwater debris flow origin. Because if these canyons were made by a lower sea level and carved by normal rivers, there would be all sorts of tributaries at these depths. But there never are. We have already seen the incredible river terraces in New Zealand from Terrace Tuesday, which show how there used to be wide rivers that decreased in stages, which can be seen from their large bank and terrace steps. These paleo rivers are the source of the debris that carved these deep underwater canyons. But the second marine canyon is where things get interesting. Instead of coming from the landmass, this canyon is connected to the Cook Strait, which is remarkably similar to the English Channel, which also has impressive erosion. It also has the same curving coastline. It's Marine Canyon Monday, and we are going to the west coast of Japan to examine a huge marine canyon that's a relic of an extreme debris flow. That is how the canyon was able to travel 740 kilometers to a depth of 3,400 meters and still had enough energy to split off into another canyon. We don't see the end of either of these, so there's no telling how far they really go. The canyon is very wide, and at this section it's 2,100 meters deep, far below an Ice Age sea level fluctuation. The canyon's main source is from the mountains above Toyama Bay. In these mountains and many of the mountains in Japan, evidence of megachannels are found, and it is seen how these huge rivers decreased by the tapering terrace steps. Japan and New Zealand have a lot of similarities, and these megachannels is one of those similarities. They are both long islands that have relatively small watersheds, but huge marine canyons, that are on par with the size of North American marine canyons. But the most interesting similarity is that they both have a strait that divides the island's landmass. And in both cases, there is a marine canyon at the bottom of the strait. Is water flow and debris flow responsible for the dividing of the landmass? Just as how water flow is what separated Britain from mainland Europe,